Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tusi TV, your global news channel. I'm Maya Tusi, and the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia has once again escalated. The ceasefire is over. The communists in Cambodia, backed by the CCP in Beijing, have decided to once again F around, and now they are finding out as the Royal Thai Army have captured a number of the border towns. And we're going to give you guys the latest update. Of course, this is a follow-up on what's been going on over the last few months, which 2CTV have reported for you guys. So we're going to get your reaction as well. First things first, this is important because the ripple effect around the world is going to be visible. President Trump is being asked to intervene. He has said that he can end this with a phone call like before, but seems like you kind of need to do a little bit more. So, what's going on here? First things first, more than 500,000, that's half a million, over half a million people have now been evacuated and fled their homes to safety, both in Thailand and in Cambodia, since the start of the conflict. Again, obviously the fresh clashes. Both governments said earlier this morning that the number of people, total number of people evacuating has now suppressed the earlier clashes. Just a quick summary in case you might have somehow missed all the conflicts of the last few months. There have always been disputes around the border. Cambodia, the communists in Cambodia who are backed by the Chinese Communist Party, and you got Thailand, it's backed by the United States. The Kingdom of Thailand started to hit back when Cambodia violated the integrity of the sovereignty of Thailand. And then Cambodians decided to put landmines around the border when a soldier from Thailand went on it and died. Obviously, Thailand decided to retaliate, and then Cambodians said, we don't know what you're talking about. Same tactic used by the Pakistani army and government in general. Let's go to the videos that we have. Cambodian forces are once again using residential areas to launch rockets at Thailand. Yeah, they always end up doing the same thing. Crazy stuff. Now, as I said, one of the biggest things that they've been doing is using civilian areas, residential areas, so that they could use civilians as a human shield. So if Thailand hits back, then they hit civilians in Cambodia. This has been a communist tactic for some time. But at the same time, they're also using civilians in Cambodia to prepare the bombs, the rockets and everything else. We're going to show you the evidence of that as well. But the Cambodian military has also started shelling the Thai army positions this morning with multiple rocket launchers throughout the day. And that is still continuing. Let's go to the next video. Crazy. One of the difficulties for the Cambodian side is that they have been struggling since last night. The communist bases around the border, they're all falling apart. So the leadership in Cambodia have now asked President Trump to help. Obviously, they've also asked President Xi in Beijing to tell President Trump to help. Thailand says we don't need any help. We're going to continue because we have to defend ourselves. The Cambodians know that they're going to fall apart. But latest reports indicated that Cambodia is now moving more tanks and additional fire systems towards the border near Taiwan. Let's go. Now, as I said, one of the most unfortunate situations in this conflict is the use of women and children by the communists in Cambodia. So the army, the Cambodian army are using civilians, women, children to handle their mortar shells during the current battles with the Thai forces. We have now received a video that was leaked by some of the civilians in Cambodia. Let's go to that and we're going to explain more. That's not normal. This is crazy. It's interesting. It reminds me of the situation in Venezuela when a couple of months back, when things started to escalate between Maduro and President Trump, Maduro asked a number of civilians to come and support the armed forces. A lot of them didn't come, but some random people turned up, and they were amateurs, and a lot of them were women who were not physically fit. We've showed you those videos from Venezuela, and they were supposed to be trained as professional soldiers to fight the Americans, and that was Maduro's idea of getting civilians to help. These guys obviously been forced to do this. Now, having said that, the Cambodian military are now deploying a large number of RM-70 multiple rocket launcher systems to the frontline borders. The latest videos also come. I think this could be from late last night, well, late yesterday, but we have. Yeah, that's this morning. That's this morning. So more of them are now being moved towards the border, and yeah. So that is the latest situation when it comes to the Cambodian side. But all this obviously escalated after the ceasefire, when it was violated again by Cambodia, which was brokered by President Trump and the United States. The whole thing has been shattered again, pushing both armies into their massive confrontation. This is the biggest in years that we've seen. As we said, the ripple effect is going to be visible all around the world, economically, financially, but also in terms of security, global security. But Thai forces say that Cambodian troops moved artillery and rocket units towards the contested ground. These are the territories that obviously Thailand says it belongs to us. Earlier this morning again, triggering exchanges of shelling and small arms fires that killed at least one Thai soldier and wounded 8 other soldiers. Let's go to the next video. Now, think about President Trump making a phone call. It's not going to be enough. The one phone call is not going to be. I mean, it's saying metaphorically, but even one meeting to have a short ceasefire is not going to stop anything. There's a deeper solution that's needed for this, and it also involves Xi Jinping in China. Otherwise, there's no point in even trying to say that we can bring peace or ceasefire between these two. Now, going back to the latest reports of drones, mortars, and also the Thai F-16 strikes, all on Cambodian communist positions. Both governments are now blaming each other, which is kind of funny, considering Cambodia basically broke this. The latest ceasefire was brokered in October by President Trump. Thailand says that new landmines in contested areas once again injured their soldiers, which was a couple of weeks back. Cambodia reject and deny these claims and the allegations, saying that Bangkok are using it to justify their military operation against Cambodia. The reality of the situation is, when you look at the situation, the backing from Beijing, everything in that region goes back to the Chinese Empire. Now, the Chinese Communist Empire, that they have bigger plans, and it doesn't just involve Taiwan. It also involves the support for the communists and socialists in South Korea to destabilize the Republic of Korea, to help North Korea, but not directly, because North Koreans have been a little bit undermined after sending a number of their amateur soldiers to Ukraine. Some of them got lost, that was to help the Russians. China need to, from their perspective, the Chinese communists believe that they need to re-energize their base in Far East Asia. But soldiers with the Royal Thai Army this morning also targeted and destroyed a construction crane that has been installed with an electronic warfare, which was to basically jam the signal. It was a signal jamming tower by the Cambodian army in Prayavir temple, which was literally by the border. Let's go to that video and see what was going on. That's the tower. That was obviously. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Let me bring that. There we go. That's the. That was being used to jam signals. That's gonna go down. That's collapsed. There we go. So yes, the signal jamming tower went down, and going back to the position of Beijing in China. The Chinese communists obviously backing Cambodia in this standoff. Beijing publicly is calling for restraint. That's what they always do, right? But they remain Phnom Penh's key military and economic partner and ally, supplying rocket systems, artillery, training that's used along the border with Taiwan, Chinese investment, which is under the Belt and Road Initiative. The Chinese Communist Party's empire is mostly used as a soft power all around the world. When they went to Central Africa, when they went to Iran, the Middle East, and of course the rest of Asia and South America, they do it using contracts, commercial contracts, obviously corporatist contracts, and they do it in the name of, we're going to be helping you. This is the same tactic that was used, but they're going to be sneaky about it. But they are replicating what the British Empire used to do by coming into new territories and say, so we're going to invest, we're going to do this, we're going to build this. But what the Chinese end up doing is that they just take more. And they basically, because it's a mafia, you now belong to China. You owe it to them. So anything that happens, Cambodia needs to say yes to China. That's the influence of the Chinese Communist Party. Publicly, they can come and say something. It doesn't really matter what China says publicly. It's all about what they are doing behind the scenes. Something that the British Empire used to do, but obviously things have changed. There was a vacuum. China has filled it. Next video is from the Royal Thai Air Force. F-16s, A and B, also the JAS-39 fighters have been conducting the latest round of attacks and strikes. They are targeting casino buildings that was used by the Cambodian Communist Army forces in both Osmak and also Odar Minachai province. This was to basically rebuild their bases, Cambodia, to target Thailand. Let's go. That's what they hit. That's one of the casino buildings.
Chạy mặt đi. Chạy hay. Cài ở kia này anh.
Here we go. Yeah, now, the latest update we have in terms of the international community and the United Nations and basically NATO and everybody else, they are putting more pressure on President Trump. The international community have asked Trump to intervene once again. President Trump says we can finish it again with a phone call. As I said, one phone call is not going to be enough. I know he's talking about it metaphorically, but the foreign ministry's spokesperson from Thailand has now said that we haven't had any contact. We have not contacted the United States yet as allies regarding any potential conversation between the Thai leadership and the Americans. But the foreign ministry in Thailand also said that Thailand would listen if contacted, but the country was not ready. Thailand is not ready for negotiations. A position, obviously, that's been consistent by the Kingdom of Thailand in response to the mediation efforts in Malaysia, which was a few months ago, in October. Essentially, the Thai side are saying, obviously, we're allies to the US, but we're not ready, because if we just have yet another conversation, yet another ceasefire, the communist side are going to break it again. So we're going to have to, I think what they really mean is that they're going to have to weaken Cambodia and their positions around the border, so that when there is a conversation about ceasefire, or let's just say peace, it will never be peace, obviously, then Cambodia will feel weakened. So they don't have to feel the confidence to break the ceasefire within a few weeks again. That's the only way Thailand could secure its positions in the future. Going to the forces of the Royal Thai Army, which have been supported by the M1126 strike, the striker thing, the fighting vehicles that they have. These are the advanced versions of them. They have now moved towards a residential area near the border in northern Cambodia, as the fighting escalates over the last few minutes between the two countries, with the soldiers seen laying down a suppressing fire using an M2 Browning, and also they have received reinforcements since this morning. Let's go to the next video from the border. So they are. The operation on the ground has been supported by the strikers. These are the fighting vehicles. Most of the attacks at this point is from the Thai side into Cambodia. The Cambodians were attacking Thailand earlier, but they've lost their military positions. So it's kind of one-sided now. Thailand completely are dominating at this point. Someone saying in the live chat, what is the root of the conflict? It's always the influence of the Chinese Communist Party, using other excuses, obviously. Apart from the historic dispute over the border territories, but again, that's just the overall excuse. Now, a senior advisor, we've just received the updates, a senior advisor to the Cambodian Prime Minister, Hun Manet, has now stated that Cambodia is ready for immediate bilateral talks for ceasefire around the border, suggesting that the talks could begin within an hour if both sides agree. Now, this simply means that Cambodia is freaking out because they have lost so many of their military positions around the border. Literally a couple of hours ago, Thailand said we're not ready. Now, the ball is in their courts. So if the Thai side say, okay, I think we punished you enough. If Thailand agreed to these talks, which would be allegedly within an hour or whenever, later today, then that simply means that Thailand have realized they've hit Cambodia enough to reduce the risk of ceasefire being basically violated again in the future. If Thailand says no, that means that they're going to have to keep going until Cambodia basically are on their knees. Now, the western sector of the border between Thailand and Cambodia, the armed forces of Thailand are continuing to advance along the western front and are now approaching the major Cambodian towns. A number of the towns have now been captured by the Thai army, and essentially the Thai side have declared a curfew in all 4 regions bordering Cambodia in retaliation and the fear. Let's go to the next video. They're all moving, they're advancing into their territory even more. Now, I think there's a situation at the sea as well when it comes to the Navy side from both sides, but primarily Thailand. Yes, we can confirm that the ships of the Royal Thai Navy supported the marine ground operations to reclaim an area captured by Cambodia earlier today. This is in the Miang district and also the Trat province of the eastern Thailand side. Cambodia, over the last couple of days, they did advance into Thailand. They did manage to take some of the territories, but over the last few hours, today, Wednesday, the 10th of December, all of those positions by the Cambodian communists have completely collapsed. The Thai side have regained control and they've actually advanced into some of the Cambodian towns right by the border. But the naval support, the surface obviously fire supporting the troops on the ground, they have now destroyed 80% of the stronghold, which the Marines burned down, and also 3 other structures along with the bunkers suspected of storing weapons and supplies for the Cambodian army. So they are basically saying that they've also destroyed the weapon storage and the equipment of the Cambodian communists. We don't have the confirmation from Cambodia yet. We'll wait for that to happen. But the Thais, a 5th Cavalry Battalion, are now shelling the Royal Cambodian Army positions in the Sakao province, which is now escalating. I think we can go to the next one. Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. So that's the situation on the ground. There's another explosion there. Trying to double check that. That's the Sakao province. That's, I think, specifically in Ban Nong Chan. That's very close to the border. Now, apart from this, I think drones are now also being used by Thailand to. We've got a drone footage that shows the moment a building was captured in a village by the border, and a house was reportedly being used, a residential place, as a stronghold by Cambodian troops. As we said, the Cambodian side have been using residential areas by the border towns to use civilians as human shields. Let's go to that one. Yeah, that's their drone. Yeah, that house. And it's gone. They're hitting it. No one's coming out. I'm assuming at this point it was empty. Or maybe they've gone to the basement or bunker. J.R. Williams says, TC, what happened to the peace deal? Well, it technically was a ceasefire, and in October, brokered by President Trump. In Malaysia, secondly, the Cambodian communists decided to violate the ceasefire. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, the drone's still hitting it. Yeah, no one's coming out. I think they've already, at that point, had left all the supplies in the building. Yeah. Now, the infantry of the Royal Thai Army have now also escorted an APC during the latest offensive move into the Cambodian territory. Let's go to that video. I think that's the it's a different angle, I think, from the positions that we showed you earlier. But what we can do is, I'm just going to some reaction. We're waiting for the confirmation of what's going on with the potential talks again, because the Cambodian side, in a desperate attempt, have said they are ready for ceasefires. Again, you can't just keep asking for ceasefire if you're going to break the ceasefire. Oh, God. Anyway, Ivan says, as much as I like Trump, this will take more than a phone call, in my opinion. Yeah, not just that. This is one of those conflicts that one side needs to be defeated. Obviously, you ask my biased opinion, Cambodia needs to be defeated, but it's just crazy stuff that they continue to do this, and the propaganda coming from China continues to work in the Western media. They have somehow painted our ally, Thailand, as the bad guys in this. It's a fascinating situation. It's the same that happened between Pakistan and India. Somehow India became the bad guy. I'm like, how did that even happen? When did India become the bad guy in the conflict with Pakistan? When a bunch of Pakistani jihadis were going around killing Hindus. Anyway. Someone says, people can believe what you want, my country, Cambodia. By the way, this isn't really against all normal people in Cambodia, because the problem goes back to the relationship between the leadership and Beijing. I mean, there are cultural issues between the Cambodian side and specifically the Buddhists in Thailand. But that aside, there's still a lot of normal, good people in Cambodia. It's just that the main issue is right now, the leadership in Cambodia don't really want to listen. So, and it's not even just about the political leadership, it's the army, it's the Cambodian army. Most of the things that have been happening over the last few months has been the actions of the military. So it's either one soldier or some sort of command that tells them to go plant more landmines for the Thai soldiers by the border. What do you expect to happen? If a Thai soldier gets injured, they're going to hit you. They're right next door. They're not going to F around. Now, someone's talking about Ukraine for some reason in the live chat. They are both villains since India is on the sides of tofu bricks. No, that's not how it works. So geopolitics is never black and white. Geopolitics is not really about left or right. Geopolitics usually tends to have like a matrix of 3D nonsense. Of different sides. The perfect example is, for example, China, Iran, and Russia. You would think, oh, well, the three are always allies on every issue. No, at times it's Russia, Iran, and China. Sometimes it's China and Iran, and then Russia on their own. Sometimes it's China, most of the time it's China and Russia, and then Iran on their own. China and Russia also at times don't trust each other, despite the alliance. India, for example, is there in BRICS, but they're also allies to the United States. India, basically, for good reasons, they're playing both sides. They want to make sure that their country is protected from the Chinese threats, but also be able to trade with the West. India and China don't like each other, but they are both in BRICS. So it's not really if India is part of BRICS, then that means, for example, by default, Thailand is the bad guy. That's not really how it works. If you want to see it as a video game, then yeah. Now, someone said this simulation is broken. The whole thing is broken. Dean Adams says, shut up, Tusi. You can try. That's not going to happen. Maybe if you say more, I might listen to you. Maybe, I don't know. J.R. Williams says it's the same strategy the Chinese do with India. They encroach on Indian territory, then build new villages, then ask for a ceasefire, repeat. Yeah, it was funny because the Chinese also did the same thing on a different level in Central Africa. When the Chinese Empire went into Central Africa a few years back, they realized, oh, we are dealing with tribal people. So In each country, you had different tribes, but neighboring countries in Central Africa didn't like that the Chinese were going there. So the Chinese Communist Party started signing all these commercial contracts, just like what they did in Iran. So slowly, China, using business contracts, they started to buy out Iran. They own Iran, partly. And they did the same thing in Central Africa. The problem that they made was that they kept poking the bear, neighboring tribes in Central Africa. The Chinese Communist Party, over the last couple of years, have been forced to slowly move out. They are being pushed out of Central Africa. This was their main playground. Apart from South America, the Chinese influence in Central Africa was huge. But the tribalists, they can't stand the Chinese. They're like, well, you just come here to take. And it doesn't really work anymore. And Tuesday, you bring the news even before we hear it in Thailand, as usual. Thank you. I'm also going to start to predict the future, so I can do a pre-breaking news. Well, as I said, the latest in this situation is that Cambodia are begging for ceasefire talks. Thailand says, we're not ready. We're going to have to punish you more. President Trump says, I can finish it with a phone call. Not going to happen. What he really means is that he can call both sides to bring them back to Malaysia, for example, for a fresh round. But I don't think the Kingdom of Thailand is ready, because they need to punish Cambodia slightly more so that they could both stop this nonsense. But for now, they both continue. Ivan says less of a Chinese takeaway and more of a takeover. Really? Ah, brilliant. So good. My favorite part of this weird conflict was a couple of months back when the Cambodian leadership stopped. They posted a picture of an American plane in California. They were part of the firefighting efforts to bring down the wildfires in California. And the Cambodian side posted that picture online saying, this is the Thai Air Force pouring poison gas on Cambodian civilians. I'm like, why did you post a very obvious photo of Californian wildfire? But that's what they do. They always end up, and they start using AI footage, which was really bad AI footage. They were saying, look at what the Thai side are doing. Like, we know that's fake. It's worse than when Pakistan were creating fake videos about India, and somehow the couple of the AI videos showing the Indian soldiers doing bad things, I don't know why, but the Indian soldiers were all blonde. I don't know what AI the Pakistanis are using. every Indian soldier happened to be blonde, so that also backfired massively on the Pakistani propaganda machine. Anyway, now, Journalin says, I learned more from 2CTV in the first few seconds of the stream than I have with the mainstream media all week. Thank you so much. That's what I try to do. But we also, obviously, we work harder to ensure that you get the latest, not just in terms of the updates, but unfiltered content, documentaries, interviews, original series, and everything else we have. And all that is on our independent platform, 2CTV Plus, which is on our website, 2c.tv. And in case you didn't know, you can join 2CTV Plus today using a promo code, because Christmas is coming, Xmas50. If you don't believe me, listen to Santa. Santa
says, join 2CTV. Happy Christmas! Ho, ho, ho!
Yeah, in case you don't know, that was actually Ivan who was in the super chats. 50% off 2CTV Plus annual memberships if you use the promo code Xmas50. And you can do that by going directly on 2c.tv. The direct link is also in the description. You can only put the code on the website, not on the app. So join on the website, then you can download the 2C TV app from your app stores, which we can also see here. There we go. Download the 2C TV app afterwards, and then you can use your login details to use that. Now, there is someone here who's saying, what? India has now chosen to be on the side of Russia. They haven't. They were always on that side. For the modular nuclear reactors and get blueprint to produce Russian Su-57. So that goes back to what I said. India, for their own strategic interest, they decided to stay close to BRICS as one of the founding members. Obviously, their friendship, Modi's friendship with Putin, that's one obvious thing. But he's also friends with Javier Milei and President Trump, which are more on the capitalist side. And they know what they're doing, because at the end of the day, India is there to ensure that every now and then there's a bit of a friction between Russia and China. And it's very, very visible. Every update that comes from BRICS is now these days shows the friction between China and Russia. China wants to be seen as the leader of BRICS. Russia is saying, why do you have to be the leader? Because India is basically there to keep trying to veto things. Vetoes don't work in BRICS anymore. Because every time, for example, India says we don't want Pakistan or Turkey to join BRICS, hypothetically, China says we don't care what you say. And then Russia gets angry. At this point, the way I see India's membership of BRICS is the same as Britain and the British membership of the European Union. Britain was in the EU to disrupt the European Union. That was literally the point of it. They were just causing chaos, and they were getting special privileges, and eventually we left. Like, goodbye. Bye-bye. And that's the reality. So India, their position is strong for their country, but also indirectly supporting the West. It's not really a favor, but the friction between China and Russia is more visible than ever before. Anyway, we're going to take a break. More updates later on. Join 2C TV Plus. Use the promo code XMAS50. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.